and I just, I personally chose this one for my 40-day, my 11-minute meditation. It was actually the one they gave us. You guys, I believe you're going to get a choice. You guys get to choose your own, right? So,
A little help from your friend.
yeah, and this one for me, honestly, I think it was probably another one of the first times I had that moment of shunya, of nothingness, just after practicing this for 11 minutes. So there is an app. I believe it's the only app I've ever paid for. You guys can come and take a look at it after. I put my phone on airplane and I turn the volume on, and then it will give you times to meditate for 11 minutes, okay? Because we do it with a nice straight spine, a little bit of a neck block, and the mudra is this. The mantra is sa, ta, na, ma. And again, just to go over the fingers, the thumb is, shout it out, first finger, Jupiter.
Saturn.
Nice.
I have a funny story about Saturn if anyone wants to hear it. Gotta tell it now, right? So in the 70s, they were downtown in LA, and the 70s was a trippy time. You had people who were super conservative, people who were ultra hippie, people who were super preppy, just all this going on. And a bunch of them were standing out on a corner. I think they were waiting for a ride or whatever, Yogi Bhajan and some of the teachers. And so these kind of young guys in a car drove by and they were like, "Screw you towel heads," and Yogi Bhajan sticks up the middle finger and they're like, "Sir, you can't give them the finger. What are you doing?" He says, "I give them the Saturn, remove the blocks."
That is great. I haven't heard that one.
Yeah.
That is great. Yeah. Well,
Oh wait, I have one more. Now that I brought up Krishna card. So one thing is that Yogi Bhajan apparently learned a lot of his English from American TV in the 70s. So, and one of his favorite shows was Kojak. So he had come back from a long trip. A bunch of them were living at the ashram, and he had come back and he got out of the car, and I don't really know what inspired the Krishna card, didn't know it either, but he got out of the car and he's saying hi to everybody. He goes, "Where's my nigga? Where's my nigga?" I'm like, sir, you can't say that. He was called the Krishna card.
Oh my God!
He didn't really know the context. He just had heard it in the TV shows and thought it was like a term of endearment. So he was like, "What do you mean? My nigga, my nigga."
Oh yes, culture class. Wow. Yeah, when I made the correlation that this was Saturn, just because of what I went, every time Saturn is in your chart, there's something to work on. I just moved in with my husband, and he had been living at his place for 10 years, so he has stuff, and it's a 1-bedroom apartment, and I had stuff, and there's too much stuff, and so
then I was getting rid of a lot of stuff. And I'm like, "You guys
She
take
did.
stuff."
I was like, we don't have room for more stuff. So then when you tell the universe that, of course somebody came and stole a bunch of stuff because I was asking to get rid of it, so the universe is always on your side. But anyway, Saturn is in my house of home right now. So I have to really begin to appreciate my home, clean it up, enjoy it, and then when Saturn leaves your chart in that specific area, it leaves you a gift, which, I'm working on manifesting my gorgeous home in Malibu, with large windows, and I'll tell you all about it later. But that's the idea, right? That's the idea with this, with everything. Words have meaning. So on that note, the words sa, ta, na, ma. So sa, these are primal sounds. Sa is a beginning, infinity, cosmos. Ta is life, existence. Na is death, change, transformation. And Ma is rebirth. So it's this cycle of life that we go through with these sounds. Sa, ta, na, va. And I just want to kind of bring this up with this meditation because it does come up. If you haven't looked into this information, whatever background you come from, I come from a Catholic and a Lutheran background where they believe you die and go to heaven or hell. But I never understood going to my church why I had all my limbs and somebody else was in a wheelchair. So I started to question from a very young age of what is this journey of life and how does God decide that we get to live in one of the greatest countries on planet Earth, or we get a home, or we're still alive with all our limbs and we can speak and we can think. So that idea that we've had more than one life is something to consider, to look at. So this is all about that beginning and that cycle of life. So the other thing we want to think about is we want to think about this energy coming through the crown and out the third eye. So it's going to come down sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. And we do it in 3 languages. We do it in the language of a human. Oh, you guys are so beautiful. It's nice to be up here with you. You do it in the language of a human, and that's out loud. And then you do it in the language of a whisper, which is the language of lovers. And then you do it silently, which is the language of the infinite. Okay? So we're going to go from out loud to whisper to silent, back to whisper, back to out loud. And there's a lot to think about. And I think the point of that is just to get you out of your own head. And it's such a garbage dump of the conscious and the unconscious mind, because you watch as the thoughts just go by, and you watch them. And the whole idea is to really begin to watch your thoughts. And not to judge them, not to get involved, but just kind of observe what's happening and your laundry list and what you think and what's going by. And even if you decide to attach to these thoughts, just see if you can just begin to really observe them and let them go by. So the last point, I believe, is to meditate at the brow point. So you want to raise those eyes up and inward, and you're going to be connecting here between the brow point, stimulating your intuition as you go into it. Okay? The greatest journey you'll ever go on is the one from the head to the heart. So, yeah.
I don't know if you guys talked about this already when we started the dress, but something really important about that is you can't push so hard that you're like, stopping the blood flow. That's like too much energy. You can't just go like this, like willy-nilly, right? You have to purposefully touch each pad with equal pressure on both fingers. So you're not like doing it where you're, turning everything white and hot red and all that, but just that you're really touching it. Because what I often see a lot of times is people are like, and then especially as time goes on, it's like, and you're not actually going to benefit because you're not truly doing the mudra. So make sure that you're very consciously pressing those fingers together at a reasonable pressure. It's like where you feel it, but you're not squeezing it. Does that make sense?
In the manuals it says with 5 pounds of pressure, which I always say, what is that? That's the instruction. So the way I describe it is it's the same amount of pressure it would take to close a Ziploc baggie. Yellow and blue make green, right? So about like that.
She's so practical. So good.
I had to explain it to the seniors, so.
So another thing, just something Yogi Bhajan said about this Kriya meditation, that a person who wears pure white and meditates on this sound current for 2.5 hours a day for 1 year will know the unknowable and see the unseeable. Through this constant practice, the mind awakens to the infinite capacity of the soul for sacrifice, service, and creation. So let's have this amazing experience together. All right, so you're gonna hear the beeps, and we're gonna do it without music. Okay? So you'll just hear the beeps and just follow along. Oh, do you? Oh, we can do music. Sure, why not? But just so you know, if you're doing it without the music or you're trying to teach your friend, this is a really cool app.
So that app beeps when it's the time?
Yeah, it's time to go from the out loud to whisper to silent, back to whisper, back, because that's tricky if you're doing it on your own as a
Because you have to
silent.
like stop it.
Yeah, you have to like.
You don't want to reset the timer to, you know, so you have to stop meditation. How long you do?
11 minutes.
It's a short version. I'll put this in our playlist so you guys can have it. Is that coming on WhatsApp? Yeah. Yeah? Okay. No?
It's free.
Oh, that's right. You don't participate. I'm just waiting. That's what it's like. All right, here you go.
And remember, eyes up and inward. Focus on that L. Satanama, 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 Stretch the arms straight up, spread the fingers wide. Hold the breath and just shake the hands out. Shake the hands as hard as you can. Just shake everything out. Shake, shake, shake. And exhale, keep the hands up. Take a deep inhale again. Stretch the spine. Stretch further. Go, go, go. And exhale. Keep the arms up. Last time. Deep inhale. Inhale, hold and squeeze the energy up the spine, releasing the energy at the base of the spine, the kundalini energy. Let it go. And exhale, release as you sweep your auric field. Give back to Mother Earth with your fingertips anything that doesn't serve you. Release it. Bring the hands into the lap. 30 seconds here of stillness. Beautiful. Just bring your palms together at the heart center. And just bow to your practice and just to that 11 minutes that you just gave yourself to shift your space, balance your feet. Would anyone like to share anything that came up from that practice?
What was knob? What is knob?
Death.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Just feeling nauseous. Like when I hit the knob. The son of my friend passed away very unexpectedly. He was very young. And so every time I hit the knob, I was feeling nauseous and I was thinking of him. So that was great.
Yeah, so you see how it has the ability to clear out because if you're holding that in your body, you can't hold on to these emotions. You have to find a way to release them. This helps us to do that. Amazing. But yeah, sometimes we just have to also check in with our breath. Where are we breathing? You guys all look like you were breathing very calmly into your bellies. Yeah. Does anybody else have anything they want to share? Yeah. Renewed?
Going through that rebirth state and it's not always getting rebirth in a sense.
I hear you.
Yeah, I'm trying to hear you up with that.
You felt like you were rebirthed?
Yeah, so I'm so zen right now.
Nice.
Interesting, you know. Sometimes too we have to die to be born again, or we have to get lost to get found. You know, and I think when we go through this, there's just this simple practice. We see all these things come up, and you know, and we kind of see them for what they are, and we can look at them in a different way, and we have an opportunity to let them go, you know, instead of holding on in our subconscious, which again, the mind is like an iceberg, you know, the subconscious, the mind is, the conscious is the part that we can see, and the subconscious is the part we can't see. So when we do a meditation like this, we dip into the spaces we can't see, and all that stuff just comes bubbling up. And the more and more we do this, the more and more we clear our karma, and the more, you know, we just clear our energy. Or even this, sweeping our auric fields. Like you can drive around all day long, you know, when your windshield's dirty, and it's really hard to see with all these bugs that are hitting it and they're glaring and, you know, it's like our windshield. It's much easier to see when it's clear, when it's clean, when we've done the work. Does anyone else want to share? Yeah.
I've done this before and I really like it because, I don't know, it's a weird sense that I get in the second half, like after the not talking, the silence, and then the second half. I feel like every time I do the first half, I'm so aware of what I'm doing and it's hard to stay focused here. And it's hard to stay focused on the light visualization. But then in the second half, I always feel really blissed out and almost like my body's gone and I only feel the fingertips, because then I start focusing like really hard here and then it's like everything disappears. And it's really trippy, and so I'm like super blissed out right now. And I love that. But I didn't know that was like what you're supposed to feel.
That's such a beautiful question too, because there is no right or wrong way to experience this work. You know, you can have an experience like Jenny did. She's releasing something, so you know, a little bit of this sadness comes up, and that's an emotion that's real, and we have to be able to be okay with those emotions. We have to be able to be okay with crying. Like tears are healing, you know. We have to be okay with being blissed out, you know, being angry, being like just in a rage, because these things come up. But the more and more we have this practice, the more and more we're able to say, okay, how did I create this? And what am I learning from it? And where can I go from there? Instead of, it was your fault. You know, then we're looking at within and we can easily shift the space. One more person? Yeah.
I have never ever experienced something like this. I just close my eyes, I open my eyes, I remember nothing. And I have a thought like, I would love to do it for another 2.5 hours. I was like, what's the problem? And yet I feel nothing but the best. I feel fulfilled by nothing. I don't know. And I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Don't question it.
Yeah, you know.
Be with it. I mean, remember, if you need to know, the universe is gonna show you. If it's not important to your enlightenment or your betterment or your growth, then experience it in gratitude, whether it's a positive or negative emotion, because really it's only what we choose to assign to it. But allow yourself to just experience it and be with it and know that something's shifting for you, and that's powerful. Same with the bliss out, you know? And also, sometimes it's showing us what we're capable of. You know? Like, if we have a lot of worry in our life and a lot of doubt in our life, then to be able to just check out and be like, I could do this for 2.5 hours, shows you that, you know, you have the ability to turn it off. You have the ability to choose peace. You know what I mean? And with the bliss, you know, it's like, you know, sometimes you've mentioned you feel like there's all these things holding you back and everything, but really it's not true, because you just had this incredible experience in meditation. You know what I mean? So the meditation is designed to give you an experience of what you're capable of, an experience of who you are, and what the reality of you, what your I am is. And your I am is that, you know, and even for you, your I am right now is holding space for your friend in that sadness, you know? That's real. That's being a forklift. You know? And if you can clear that within you, it allows you to hold even more space for your friend. You know, or when we're feeling disconnected, if we can surrender to that and just be like, I'm disconnected right now. All right, take it into your meditation. Magical things can happen, you know? So, yeah.
And also the space that you guys created, so we're all healers. You know, some of us don't know that yet, or we haven't stepped into that practice, or maybe we don't ever want to, but we all have the capacity to heal ourselves firstly. We can't really go out and heal anybody else until we really do the work on ourselves. And we all have the ability to be psychic, you know, and in the energy in the space, I just want to say, was pretty phenomenal where you guys went. It's like, it's wow, it's like we're sort of floating. That's what it feels like, you know. So, it's amazing, guys. Amazing.
And being that it is the equinox, it's very powerful to do it right now. Because the equinox is all about balance. You're tuning into yourself, which brings you balance.
As I say, this one it always feels very balancing to me. I almost feel like I can feel both sides of my brain.
Yeah, connecting.
Yeah.
It does connect the hemispheres, actually, the left and right hemispheres of the brain.
I taught all this whole class this. I told them to do it before they do a test
Yeah.
to like balance themselves.
Kids
They
love
love it because it's so
this.
easy. It's such a good one and it's easy to remember.
Yeah.
And like they just thought it was so fun.
Yep. And we did it in camp when she was in camp too. And it's funny, I was driving with Kai the other day and we were talking and he was like asking when he was coming here. He likes coming here. He wanted to stay with us for teacher training this weekend. I said, Kai, that's not going to be fun. But anyway, I said, well, what do you miss about yoga? And he goes, peace begins with me. That's what we teach the kids. Peace begins with me.
Yeah.
So.
And they do it at a kids camp in New Mexico as well, while the women have women's camp, and it's been a tradition with Yogi Bhajan. We talked about that, I guess, in the videos earlier today. So the kids go to kids camp at the same time, and you know, there was this young little boy, his mom, she was really young when she had him, and she didn't know, and she used to put him in the room and kind of shut the door and, you know, just go drinking or whatever, and she's completely turned her life around, and she's a yogi, and she's been practicing Kundalini yoga, and so she went to the women's camp and had her child there, and he used to have all these temper tantrums and stuff, and now he's like completely calmed down, and his meditation is Satnam, and he does it every day. You know, so the kids, they feel this stuff intuitively, and they start to ask for it because they know it works.
And the research that we were talking about before, again, we know it because we just experienced it, right? But the research proves, in the Western sense, that this particular meditation, it's good for depression and anxiety. It reduces inflammation. It creates new gray matter in the brain. It actually can reverse memory loss, which is why it's such a big deal for Alzheimer's. It's the only thing they are working on. There's the outside possibility of a pharmaceutical pill that they're putting together for reversing memory loss, but you know, obviously this is going to be better even if they come up with that. But let's say they do or don't. At this time, this is the only thing that is known of in certainly in Western culture or Western society that can do that, can actually reverse memory loss. So it's a big deal.
CBG.
What's that?
CBG,
Oh.
which is the stem cell. The cannabis plant is actually, they're doing studies now and it's doing similar thing. It's
Okay, there you
in the
go.
brain.
Awesome.
And rosemary.
Rosemary helps.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. There's just like tons and tons and tons. It's
Yeah.
actually affecting your brain waves. It's really, you know.
So it helps not to forget, right?
it helps you to not forget.
Is there something to forget?
Well, no, that we're talking more about cognition more than trauma or, you know, feeling memories or what you'd like to forget. Just the function of the memory, to the capacity to remember that is lost, Aging, dementia and aging.
Yeah. But you could do this mantra with a very clear intention to release something.
Yes.
And that could allow you to, it's almost like the tapping I was teaching you, you know, could allow you to rewire the brain.
It is, if anyone knows about tapping, I mean, what are we doing here? Tapping.
Yeah.
So many of the things we're doing in Kundalini Yoga
Yeah.
and in the mudras, all the mudras are like that.
Yeah, we're working on another one, a lot of the students together, the Gyan Chakra Kriya, we'll probably do it at some point, but it goes over the head, so again, you're doing this mudra where you're clearing, and you know,
This would be an example of a hand and body mudra, because the movement actually becomes part of the mudra.
And you know, we were listening to something called the emotion code, and the emotion code, they literally have an exercise where you have an emotion, say it's a loneliness deep down, and they were taking, you know, you take a magnet and you pull the loneliness out of the brain and down the back of the head, and you do this 3 times. You can do it by yourself or with a client. And you know, my husband, he was like, this is like the mudra we've been doing. It's like, it's very similar. Look, you're like pulling the energy out of whatever. And this body and hand mudra itself has the capacity, it's another one, but it has the capacity to remove blocks. All of the blocks that have been keeping us from achieving what we want to achieve. It's all of a sudden jobs are pouring in, and I mean, everybody that's doing this practice with us is having massive, significant results and changes in their life from this meditation, 11 minutes a day. And this stuff came to us from Yogi Bhajan when it was reserved for royalty. That wasn't really mentioned in the videos today, but this was for royalty, and he was not allowed to bring it here. And they also said very bad things would happen to him, and he did get really sick in the first year that he was here. You know, just besides the whole flight situation and all that stuff, but he just knew in his heart that he had to bring this awareness to us, because you guys, again, are the light, the masters. So how are you gonna walk around tonight when we leave here as a master, knowing you're a master? How does that change? Something to think about. All right, so